Live to Grantham in Lincolnshire now, where Conservative leadership candidate Rishi Sunak is speaking. Let's listen in.
This leadership election will touch on many issues, and I will travel the length and breadth of our country to hear our members and tell them about my vision and how we need to change. But there is a core to this campaign that stands us apart, that represents the best of us in the most testing of times. And that is moral courage. It may seem trite to say it, but that's only because it is so rare in our politics. The moral courage to tell the truth, even if it hurts me. The moral courage to raise issues, even if they are uncomfortable. And the moral courage to rise above the smears and the hatred, no matter how baseless or unfair. We can be better, and we will be better. Now, this courage comes from my family. My mum, who ran the local chemist on Burgess Road in Southampton, and my dad, a local NHS GP. This country gave them the opportunity for a better life, and they took it. They had 3 children, me, my brother, and my sister. And they gave everything so that we could have more than they had. It is the most conservative of conservative stories, and one that everyone here would recognize. Now, my mum and dad are not here today, but my wife and children are. And whatever happens in this election, I've never been prouder to say to them, I love you all. Now, I've spent a few years in Westminster now, and a couple of years at the top of government. And I can tell you, whilst it is full of decent and hard-working people, the system is broken. And no amount of undeliverable promises are going to change that. Since the start of this campaign, I've told you all some tough things to hear, but I've told you them because I'm a conservative. Conservatives don't believe in burdening future generations tomorrow because of weakness today. That is not who we are, and that is not who I am. No. We believe in other things. Conservatives believe in each other, because it is through each other, not the state or even the market, that we achieve the things that make life worth living. Conservatives believe in honesty, because the foundation of all freedom is truth. And above all, conservatives believe in duty and fidelity. It is the core of our party and our people. Duty and fidelity to one another, to our families, those we love, to our neighbours and friends, to our word, and to our country. These are conservative values, and they are my values. And as your Prime Minister, I will turn these values into action for you. Because the problems we face are so much more fundamental than any candidate in this election has told you. Enough is enough. I am here to tell you that unless we change, unless we are competent enough to grip this moment and make it work for our country, the challenges we face in the coming months alone will push us to the limit. This must not happen. The stakes are too high and the cost to our people too great. If we are to deliver on the promise of Brexit, then we're going to need someone who actually understands Brexit, believes in Brexit, voted for Brexit. And if our challenges are great, then our answers must be too. We have national emergencies that must be dealt with, and we have to tell the truth. We have to tell the truth about our NHS and the pressure it is under. I've taken a lot of political pain to make sure the NHS has what it needs, and I'm the candidate in this contest who can say unequivocally the NHS will be safe in my hands. We face the worst NHS winter crisis in decades. Tackling the backlogs is the biggest public service emergency. We need a fundamentally different approach. We will take the best of our COVID response and apply those lessons to clearing the massive backlogs in the NHS. We have to tell the truth about immigration because our system is still not working. It is simply unacceptable to have the current situation where criminal gangs are still trafficking illegal immigrants to this country, exploiting loopholes in the legal system, and yes, our compassion. We must never lose that compassion, but we must be tougher and we must be uncompromising. And as someone who is the product of immigration and the warm and welcoming embrace of this country, I know it can work, but only legally. We have to tell the truth on criminal justice and sentencing. Over half of all crimes are committed by just 9% of criminals. So if you want to deal with the crime, then any answer that doesn't target that group of people who are committing most of it isn't worth the paper it is written on. We have to tell the truth about our schools, where the great education reforms of Michael Gove have come under threat. So we must now again double down, not just on teacher quality and technology, but genuine reform of our curriculum. We have to tell the truth about national security. Yes, defense spending needs to increase, and I will never shortchange our armed forces, and my track record proves that, with the largest increases in defense spending since the Cold War. But simply saying 3% isn't a plan, it's an arbitrary target. Rather, we need to provide our military with the resources it needs to do what it needs to do to keep us safe. We have to tell the truth about the cost of living and that there is no answer to this problem other than to grip inflation and bring it down. Rising inflation is the enemy that makes everyone poorer and puts at risk your homes and your savings. And we have to tell the truth about tax. I will deliver more tax cuts. I've already made real progress as Chancellor, but I will not put money back in your pocket knowing that rising inflation will only whip it straight back out. So we will tell the truth, no matter the cost, because there can be no real change without. But real change is there, I swear it. We can be better, but it will only come with radicalism. We can grow our economy, creating more and better jobs with higher wages and real progression if we actually get businesses investing. So I'm going to reform our tax system and make this the best country in the world to invest. And it's not just about big businesses. This is about small businesses too. This is about our high streets. They can't grow if they can't invest, and I will fix that. We can revolutionize our education system, but only if we accept that the status quo is not only unacceptable, but immoral. I don't care where you're born or who your parents are, your birthright should be a world-class education. Because today's education system is tomorrow's economy. And we can cut more taxes but only if we defeat the enemy of inflation. And that can only happen if we are honest about the ravages it causes. We must see the danger in front of us and act, not pretend like it isn't happening. Or more dreadful still, make the situation worse, putting people's homes and savings at risk. I will deliver a lower tax economy. I will deliver tax cuts, but tax cuts you can believe in. I will make that happen. We must be radical. We must change, because if we don't, we can't rebuild our economy. We must be radical. We must change, because if we don't, then Brexit will not be safe. And we must be radical. We must change if we are to beat Keir Starmer and the Labour Party at the next election. Because all the promises in the world mean nothing if the country wakes up to a Labour government in 2024. All the evidence is clear. I am the only person who can beat Labour. I am the only candidate who can protect the union, and I am the only candidate who can keep Brexit safe. Today, my campaign with party members begins. My campaign will represent the very best of Conservative values. I will give everything to earn every vote. But be in no doubt, I am the underdog. The forces that be want this to be a coronation for the other candidate. But I think members want a choice, and they are prepared to listen. And in the coming days, they will see that I don't just offer change. I don't just offer grip. I'm offering hope. We can be better. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we'll do it afterwards. Thank you. Let me take some questions.